This episode is in partnership with Authority Magazine. Authority Magazine, a Medium publication, is devoted to sharing in-depth and interesting interviews featuring people who are authorities in business, pop culture, wellness, social impact, and tech.
Today's guest is Ellen Silverman. She is a Manhattan native, former Wall Street analyst and real estate professional who knows New York inside and out. She's curious, thoughtful, and passionate about helping people navigate life's big transitions. And with me to share in the conversation is my friend, Kerrin Black. Ellen, welcome to Believe in People.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I want to ask you because we sort of spoke extremely briefly, and I'm really interested in this. You are a native New Yorker. I want to ask you, because you have been there your whole life, what significant changes have you experienced? Like, what are sort of the prevalent experiences you've seen so up to date?
You know, it's almost as if I've had 7 lives or 6 lives. I guess 6 lives for every decade I've been alive. I just when I grew up in New York City in the 60s, it was an entirely different city, a different lifestyle, everything. And I think that can be said with probably any city in the United States or even the world. But it was much more of a middle class city. This was pre the condominiums and the co-ops. Everything was a rental. You could live on Park Avenue or Central Park West and rent. And I think since the 1980s really brought this mass change in real estate and in real estate development. And I think also with the politics, there's just more of a disparity between the very rich and the very poor, and the middle class is kind of being eliminated.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd say it's really about finances. That has changed everything.
So obviously being born in New York and living there all your life. So from the perspective of choosing the career that you're in now, or how did you get into the whole real estate? Like, because obviously that wasn't what you initially were doing. So I don't know if you want to just talk about
Yeah.
what led you to get into real estate.
That's an interesting question. Well, I grew up here in Manhattan, and I went to very good private schools, but in those days, private school was affordable.
Yeah.
But because of that, I was exposed to very wealthy people that lived in beautiful homes and beautiful apartments, and I used to go visiting them as a kid. We would have dates, play dates, back and forth. And so I think I was exposed to interior design and beauty and home life and lifestyle at a very young age, and that always influenced me. And I grew up middle class, but my mother also really believed in having a beautiful home. And we had that, and you didn't have to be very, very wealthy to know how to put an apartment together and style it well. It didn't mean you were rich. It just mean you had a good eye,
Yeah.
or people who could help you with those things. And my mother always had an interior decorator help her decorate her home. And again, that was a very affordable thing to do back then.
Mm.
So that was always, I think I grew up with that gene. But then, I went on to prep school and I went on to college and I was very good in math. And because I was exposed to a lot of wealth growing up, I really wanted to be in a career that gave me wealth. So
Yeah.
I worked on Wall Street, I worked in finance, I worked in banking for a very long time. And I was very good in math and finance and numbers. So that's what led me to that career. And I did it for a very long time. But, at age 59, it was really time for me to leave. There were a lot of, people half my age that I was working with, a lot of people from foreign countries that came into the international banks that were very well versed in technology. And it just was time for me to go and pursue other options. And because I always loved real estate and design, and I was good in finance, and I really knew New York City, having grown up here, I decided to pursue a career in real estate. So in 2016, uh, a very well-known investment bank that's no longer around, Credit Suisse, fired me, and I was delighted. And that summer, I got my license, and the rest is history.
Isn't it funny
Amazing.
when you think about that? Because it is those moments where, and I love your perspective because actually being fired or it sort of motivates you or pushes you to do the things that you really want to do. And I love that. And I'm just wondering too. I mean, you were you were older when you made this decision. What was the transition like for you? Like going from,
Well,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, age really didn't affect me at all. I didn't really think about it. I think it was more lack of experience, which was a challenge. And you know, you walk into a new real estate company, and they say, "Well, go and tell the world, tell all your friends and family, and their friends and family that you're in real estate, and you'll have thousands of people gravitating towards you to buy and sell their homes." Nothing could be further from the truth. Everybody knew me as Ellen who works on Wall Street. Why would I hire her? She knows nothing about selling real estate. And that's really the truth. And so I really needed experience. And I really needed to get my feet wet and go into, you know, into the streets and really just start working and learning by experience and, you know, making mistakes and learning from them. And that's the only way to um, you know, to understand how to do this job is just by doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. So a question that I have regarding, you know, the transitioning. So do you feel that that having the finance background at least and the mathematical experience gave you an advantage in a way, even though there were still a lot of things you had to learn or, you know,
Yeah.
venture into? So do you think that was a benefit for you?
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. 100% numbers, finance, mortgages, interest rates, all that stuff I can do in my sleep. So I'm very, very confident with those skills. And I'm very confident about New York City and neighborhoods and what's going to appreciate and what's going to be valuable. Because I'm always asked, what's
Yeah.
this going to be in 10 years? Okay, those questions I can answer. What I didn't know well was people and their craziness and the
Especially in New York.
especially in New York, and the panic and the craziness people go through when they're making big investment decisions. You know, I worked on Wall Street, but I was always behind the scenes, you know, doing research analysis. I was never really dealing with people's money directly. So, dealing with people and their and the psychology of money was something that I really had to learn and really put on that therapist's a cap and those skills and empathy skills. That's really where I got my ass kicked, pardon my French, was, you know, this isn't an earnings report anymore, Ellen. You know, it's really dealing with someone's emotions and how they feel. And, you know, they're spending $1 million. So, you know, just try to getting into their mindset. Yeah.
for sure. And so, Ellen, what was your what was the moment for you? What was your first sale? Your very first sale?
Um, oh gosh, you know, I don't even remember the very first sale. I can't even remember, but I I did work with a lot. I do work with a lot of first-time buyers, and they really trusted me. So that gave me confidence. And I think that even to this day, I've been doing this almost 10 years, there's always going to be a hiccup. There's always going to be a problem that's unexpected. And it's really learning to stay calm and focused and not get emotional. They can get emotional and crazy. They can get completely crazy, do whatever they want. I have to stay, grounded
Yeah.
and be the strong pillar that's going to guide them.
Obviously AI is, impacting industry and a lot of things. So how in the real estate industry has this affected, like in what you're doing, or how are you utilizing the tools and then still remaining, that personal point of contact or whatever? Because I think a lot of people are afraid of AI just because there does seem to be some element of human detachment or no connection between people because people are utilizing these tools. So I'm just curious, like how this has impacted you're doing and how
Yeah.
you're utilizing it.
Well, AI has certainly made my life easier. I can do market reports and I can do analysis using AI. It also does, it'll go through my emails from 6 years ago and find out past renters, sellers, buyers that I haven't spoken to in a long time and create an email for me and I can send it out. And that is fantastic. I love it. But what AI doesn't do is give the inside knowledge of buildings and neighborhoods
Yeah.
that I can give and lend emotional support to someone that really needs it. And also just give my insider view on things. And and New York City is a city of co-ops, and we have to do co-op board packages. And there's no way AI can put together a board package. There's absolutely no way that'll ever happen. So I do think we are still very much needed. I don't feel threatened by it. It just makes my life better. That's how I treat it. If the clients want to use it, however they want to use it, that's fine with me. But they still need a broker to provide that added value of, inside information.
And Alan, I'm really curious, what were you like as a kid? And did you have any aspirations of wanting to do something? Like, did you say, "Oh, okay, I want to be this" when you were
Oh
a kid?
God. Um, wow, what a question. I don't remember if there was something I wanted to be. I was always very, very organized and I liked everything in place. I liked structure. And that's why I think I like math, because it's just very, very structured. And I'm a Capricorn. We thrive on structure. We can't think without structure, and everything has to be in its place. So those skills I had at a very, very young age. And I think I'm an only kid, so I'm very, very independent. And I just forge ahead. I don't really I didn't really have any roadmaps or people. Certainly, no one in my family did anything that I ventured out to do on my own. So I don't know where I get this from. Maybe it's from my father's side. I'm not sure. Um,
What did your parents do, Ellen?
well, my mother was a nutritionist,
Ah,
and
Wow.
my aunt was an accountant, and my grandmother worked in Macy's for 40 years. And my father worked in television, in lighting. But my mother and father separated when I was 3 years old. I mean, nobody got divorced in those days, but she did. So my mother, I think I have a sense of independence from my mother.
mm.
And so I was kind of raised by these three working women. So I think I have a strong work ethic because of that. I had saw these three women going to work every day. And that's how I got to go to good private schools. They were all taking care of me and paying bills. And I would actually, my grandmother sometimes took me to work to Macy's, and I watched her work. And in those days, the salespeople at Macy's got dressed up in suits and had white gloves and hats, and it was really a profession. And she would walk onto the selling floor selling towels, and it was like a big deal. And
Mm.
everybody said good morning and had manners, and it was like a real privilege to work.
And
So
work ethic too, right? A different
yeah,
work
Yeah.
ethic. Yeah.
yeah. And so I think that's always been that's something I grew up with was, you grow up, you go to college, and then, we'll pay for college, Ellen, but then, we're going to send you off. You got to get an apartment, you got to get a job. Bye. We'll see you on your birthday. you know.
So
Well,
do you think that having those experiences, like you say, going with your aunt or, family to work, do you think that that had an influence also on your work ethic, even though you structurally organized and you've always been that way? Do you think that that contributed to where you are today in terms of influence?
Yeah, no, absolutely. 100%. Yeah. I mean, the whole ritual, I watched these three ladies. I live with my mom, but I would see each woman, get up in the morning, get dressed, wear, suits, designer clothes, put on the makeup, the hat, the matching gloves, the handbag, the matching shoes, take work very seriously. You go to work on time, you report to your managers, you do what you're told, and you work, and that's life, and I absolutely, I still have that work ethic instilled in me. And I work for myself now, but I'm still very, very structured. Yeah, yeah.
and Ellen, when did the book come about for you? What inspired you to write a book?
Oh, you mean the book on ChatGPT?
Yes.
Um,
So
yeah.
hence the reason why for our audience or for
Oh,
our viewers that we're talking about AI as well. So could you share a little bit more about that? Because
oh,
that's really
sure.
interesting.
Yeah, well, in 2023, I was having a rotten year in real estate. It was just not a good year for a lot of brokers. And I was thinking, what else can I do that where I can work at home and still be an entrepreneur and do something that I'm interested in. So I took a course in Kindle publishing and writing books online, and they give you all these tools to figure out where the market is, what will sell, what's of interest to the public. So, all analytical tools that I enjoyed using. And I kind of figured out a few subjects that I thought were in demand, and AI and ChatGPT was one of them. So, and then I thought, well, what do I want to do with ChatGPT? So I thought, well, I'm a self-employed person. Maybe there are other small business owners or self-employed people that would like to understand how to use ChatGPT to run their business. So that's what the book is on, ChatGPT for small business owners. And the book breaks down each aspect of running a business: marketing, operations, finance, research, human resources, all those things, and different ChatGPT prompts you can use in those different areas of business to make your life easier, to automate a lot of operations so that business owners have finally the time to focus on the things that matter. Strategy, making money, sales, meeting, whatever it is. Because I think as a business owner, you get so enmeshed in so many things, and you lose sight of profit
Mm.
and
Can you
what
give
your
us an
focus.
example? Can you give us one example as to how that AI would be helpful to a entrepreneur or new business owner?
Um, well, I guess I have a chapter on market research and how to find your target audience, and it gives different prompts on, let's say, I don't know, give me the demographic for people who buy condominium apartments in the Upper West Side of the last year and what the price point is, or things like that. Or,
Right.
I mean, it could be any product or
Right.
service.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, so it can get really specific, right?
Oh, absolutely. Oh,
But
yeah.
you're as specific as you ask the question. Is that true?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, and you just learn how to refine your prompts, and the chat GPT will also help you. Like you'll ask a question and then it'll come back and say, well, Ellen, is this good, or do you want me to refine this further? Or do you want me to put this in executive summary for your clients? Do you want me to add graphics? I mean, it's incredible what ChatGPT can do. And
And
that's just,
it's interesting you say that because it's so funny because I was just listening. I was working out this morning. I was listening to Josh Rogan. No, what's the guy's name? Joe
Joe
Rogan.
Rogan.
And
Yeah.
he was with Matthew McConaughey, and I don't usually watch that, but it for whatever reason they talked about AI, and they were talking about the statistics as to when we lean into AI a little bit too much, those who sort of rely on it, then cognitively we're not developing as we could. So you're not suggesting, like you're suggesting, you're getting frameworks, correct? Like you're thinking about more of a
yeah.
framework
Oh,
or
yeah. No,
back
no, no.
office sort of support.
Yeah, no, I've heard that too. It's replacing our brain and our thinking. No, 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 no. This is to provide a framework, a structure to get started. Because I think a lot of people, even writers, we all have writer's block. Everyone has blocks. Forget the writing. People have a hard time getting started, whatever it is.
Good point.
And I think if you put something into ChatGPT just to get started, just to get moving, and then refine from there, and then start using your brain, and then start being creative, and then start putting your spin on the facts. But don't use it to completely replace everything. No, no, no. That's not what I'm suggesting at all.
Yeah. Thanks for
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So, Ellen, what are some of the things outside of real estate that you do for your own well-being or mental health? Because obviously
Great question.
York is a
Yeah,
crazy
and
city.
do you do anything else?
Yes, I do. Well, I love to travel. I love to just go to the beach. I'm in New York City and we're near a lot of beaches. And sometimes if it's a beautiful day, I'll just take the day off or half the day off and hop on a ferry and go to Rockaway Beach and just sit in the sun because I love the beach and I love the air and I love to swim and the food is always good. I love movies. I love fashion. I watch my stupid Netflix shows. I watch all the Real Housewives of New York, Beverly Hills. I love to see their beautiful homes and their closets of shoes and handbags and clothing. And I mean, I watch more serious shows too, of course. But yeah, I mean, it's you need a balance. You can't just be all work. This is a burnout business.
Yeah.
This is a
That's why I was
you know,
curious what you do outside of that.
yeah, no, I don't. I make a lot of mistakes when I'm tired and I serve no one. So if I'm tired, I just stop working and do, go outside, visit friends, take a walk, you know, have healthy food. I work out. I work out. I have a Zoom class that I Zoom into a few times a week with a fantastic fitness trainer, Holly Rillinger. I always say she's my shrink and my fitness trainer because I always feel better after working out. The endorphins kick in, and I notice when I don't work out, I get depressed.
Yeah.
You know, and so that class has been instrumental. I've been with her and the women in that class since 2017. I guess it's been 8 years.
Wow.
And we
Amazing.
lift weights and she's just wonderful. And yeah, so that's what I try to do. But yeah, I mean, and I was just saying to Amy before the call, Amy said, well, have you ever thought about leaving New York? And I'm like, yes, all the time. I'm trying.
Where would you
But
go?
well, I don't know. I mean, I think about Miami because I think Miami has turned in sort of this Manhattan with the incredible development that's going on over there. And yet it has great weather and it has beaches and it's very cosmopolitan and cultural. So I think that's a place I would like to go. I am getting my Florida license. So maybe at some point I would do both. I don't know how I would do that. I have no clue how that would work. It could be a nightmare, honestly.
That's
But
right. So wherever you are, you need to get your license based on.
Yes.
Okay.
oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, Florida, you need a Florida license, and it's a totally different way of doing real estate, a totally different set of rules.
Oh,
New York City is an anomaly. We do things like nobody else in the world. Yeah.
wow. And I wanted to ask you, Alan, just from a so let's say first time home buyer, how many homes does one on average look at before they settle?
Mm.
Home, condo, like is there a magic number?
I would say it varies. I would say 15 to 20
Wow.
is a good amount. Yeah. You want to get educated. Most buyers always, they say they want one thing and then they end up buying something completely different. And they have to see a variety of neighborhoods. They have to see a variety of sizes and different types of layouts and different types of buildings. There's pre-war, there's condominiums, there's new development. You really want to see everything before you put down $1 or $2 or $3 million. You want to be sure that this is something you're going to be happy with. So yeah, the more the better. You
And
want to
this
be
is I'm
educated.
just asking for a friend, but well, okay, my brother's been looking for a home, and I honestly feel to this point that he is really not interested in a home. I mean, where is there a point where you just say, okay, I've been looking, I know, looking and looking and looking, and then doesn't really land on that. Although financially, he's all set. When is that? Like, what's the turning point in one's brain? Because it's a big decision,
Yeah, well, I mean, how motivated? It's motivation. Is he really
right?
motivated?
I
Does,
don't know.
does he really want to buy?
Exactly. This is what I ask him.
Yeah, because I've bought 3 times on my own, as a buyer, as a client. I've been in that position and I really, really wanted to buy. I was a serious buyer. A serious buyer will buy.
So a
Um,
serious buyer will buy, but then what if you have and what if you have somebody that's so meticulous, like I want to buy a new home where I just walk in and I don't have to do anything, and then and then he calls in his who's the home inspector person, and I swear he's looking for this like, well, Aim, there's a leaky whatever. You know what I mean? There's always something. I think that there's like, where do you get over this fear? Like, what is it?
listen, 432 Park Avenue in New York City is on Billionaires Row, and even that building had major, major structural issues, and those are $30 million apartments. My point is, no apartment or new development is going to be perfect. I don't care where it is, where in the world it is. I know in New York City, nothing is perfect. There's always going to be a leak. There's always going to be a nick in the floor. There's always going to be an electrical outlet that doesn't work. You make a list of the punch items and you get them fixed. The building I'm in now, we everybody moved in. It's 44 apartments, and about after 6 months, there were leaks, there were floods. We sued the developer.
Hmm.
We sued the sponsor and won. I mean, I'm not saying that happens, and that's a horrendous problem, but there's always going to be something. And I would say that if there are enough pluses over minuses and you really love it, then go for it and
Yeah.
fix whatever needs to be fixed.
Mm.
Great
And I
advice.
guess what you do is make a checklist prior to purchasing and then go back and say these are the things that need to be fixed, and then that comes to their expense, correct?
100%. Before you close on an apartment, you get a home inspector in, they check everything, all the outlets, all the appliances, all the walls, all the floors. You make a list, you put little pieces of tape next to the smudges on the wall. You make a 40, 40-point list. You hand that to the seller or the developer, and they fix it before closing. And if there's not enough time, you sign a document that it will be fixed within 30 days post-closing. And yeah, and the lawyers sign off and you get it done. And this happens every single day.
It's good to know. And Ellen, if you weren't, I know we're slowly coming to the end, but if you weren't doing real estate, let's say in your next chapter, what would you do?
Oh gosh.
I think stylist, like seriously.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, that is like, yeah.
Yeah.
But okay.
I do. I don't know if I want to. I don't know. That's also a crazy emotional
Yeah.
business.
All I can
I
think
don't
of is
know.
Bethany, from what's her name?
Oh,
Bethany
Bethany Frankel.
Frankel.
I listen to Bethany all the time. She's incredible. I so admire her. I don't know. Maybe I would go back to the books and writing and figuring out books that are useful to people and do that. I'm kind of an introvert nerd, and that's fun. And I like being home, and I like working for myself, and having the freedom and setting my own hours. So maybe that. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
So in terms of, because obviously you mentioned you have a lot of first-time buyers. So do you have some of those clients that come back, like repeat clients that come back and want you to either help them sell or buy something new? I'm just curious how you maintain those sort of relationships as well.
Yes, yeah, no, absolutely. I do have first-time buyers come back that get married, or they have children, or they have parents that want to buy, that want to be next to them. That just happened to me with a referral. So yes, referrals do come back, but it's also really important for me to stay in touch,
Yes.
because so much of the time when people buy again, they use a different broker.
Mm.
So Compass, I work for Compass, and they really instill on us, stay in touch with everybody, because when they want to buy something else, they'll remember you. So it's a two-way street. I have to
Yes.
really always be in front of them. Yes, and they do
Yeah.
come back. Absolutely.
That's great. I would come back for
Amazing.
sure. Ellen, this is called Believe in People, this podcast. What is it about people that you believe in?
Oh gosh, what is it about people that I believe in? People are basically very resilient. And I think in the age we're in with technology and knowledge, and we can just look something up on YouTube or Google or AI. If we need information, if we want answers to something, we can find it. So that is really an amazing thing about technology these days. So I think people have access to that, which is very, very helpful. And I would say resilience.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we certainly needed this in this day and age.
Yes.
That's for sure.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes, we
Ellen,
do. And
so
good
grateful
and
for your
good
time.
good wine and good wine.
And good wine. 100%. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. It was really fun.
Absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Okay.